South Africa is one of the countries where the Omicron variant was first spotted, but it now seems to have passed the peak of its fourth wave. To talk more about the situation in South Africa now, let's bring in Nadine Theron in Cape Town. Nadine, data on COVID cases, things like hospitalizations and deaths, do seem to have lower severity this time around. What more can you tell us about that?
Yes, in fact, the hospitalizations have remained around 600 daily new hospitalizations, but very few of those actually become deaths. In fact, data shows that the amount of deaths that Omicron variant has caused at its peak is only 8% of the deaths caused by the previous variant, the Delta variant. So the amount of cases in South Africa are also decreasing, but what we're seeing about the severity of it is that 87% of the deaths caused by Omicron were people who were completely unvaccinated. And it's much, much lower than previous variants. So that's good news here in South Africa.
So how is the government managing this fourth Omicron wave? Are things very different this time around?
Yes, even though yesterday we saw 15,000 new cases, the day before 8,500 new cases were recorded, which is really, really low. It's the lowest since the beginning of this month. And as we said, South Africa is passing the peak. But even at the peak of the Omicron wave of infections, South Africa is still only on a very low level of lockdown restrictions, as they say. So in fact, government a ministerial advisory committee recommended to the Minister of Health last week that they consider stopping the isolation period of 10 days for people who were in contact with COVID cases, and also the process of contact tracing. They say this has too much of an impact on the economy, and they actually don't think it's necessary anymore because they believe that it's an immunity that has caused these Omicron cases to be so mild. They believe that 60 to 80% they showed in some serum testing of people have some level of immunity against this variant. So government is keeping the restrictions really low. They still advise against big gatherings, mask wearing. They want people to wear masks and avoid mass gatherings. But it is December and it's summer holidays here in South Africa. So if you look outside, it doesn't look like there's any kind of a pandemic over here. The beaches are packed and people are outside as if there's no pandemic.
All right. Thanks for that, Nadine. Nadine Theron with a reporting from Cape Town.